Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, so I think you've seen this screenshot. If you've been listening to my episodes and everything and you've been paying attention to the screenshots, you've seen this one. And it's like I'm sprinkling more new ones, but yeah, let's just say I think I have just figured out a way to put all of the images in a document because literally I have over 300 screenshots of dating nightmares, river of racism, catfish, all that jazz. And it's it's a mess. It's like 'cause it's in order on my phone, but then sometimes when I'm trying to remember, when did I have that racist bigot write me? When's the last time that troll wrote me? Because he wrote me 5 times. And which time was a time he called me the N word? Which one was a time when he called me the R word? So, yeah, it's like literally trying to remember like which picture is when. And then I also have screenshots for my business and goals. So, yeah, I need to empty out my phone and I need to do it. Yes, I'm still trying to organize away. Like, okay, every single day I will at least empty out 20 to 30 pictures because at least this way I will be able to start erasing and deleting. But then if I do that, I won't have. But then while I do that, I have a lot of pictures I need to put on Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky. And so, yeah, so every day is basically going to. Yeah, but anyways, if you're new, hi, I am the Handicapable Black Woman. I am a self published author. Soon, my novel, yeah, I keep saying soon, but you guys already know my YouTube channel is as messy as my life. But yeah, it's like my novel should be out soon. I have about 6 children's books out. I have like 2 or 3 more that should have already been out. But yeah, again, my life is messy. And then my greeting card company is going to be started next year, as well as stationery and all types of other goodies. I am also working on the website. And yeah, let's just say a lot of projects, a lot of fun. I love it, but it's stressful because I'm doing all of this while dealing with a newly diagnosed disability because I had terrible doctors all of my life. And even though I would tell them the truth, because some people will say my truth, but I'm like, literally, it's the truth because DNA is the truth. And the fact that I had to go over 30 years before doctors would even consider or allow me to have a DNA test. And then, like, yeah, insurance doesn't pay. Because, yeah, I'm going to do a whole episode, a whole series on insurance. Because after what happened to that one dude, yes, like, I think corporations are so stunned that people aren't like, oh my gosh, poor, like, yeah, nah, I have a lot of thoughts. And especially since I was ignored for so many years, and for so many years, that like doctors would not give me tests, or if they gave me tests, they would tell me I had to pay because there's no proof of what I needed, or they would say the pain was in my head and I was making it up, so there was no need for the insurance to cover. And it's a lot of an emotional and physical trauma that I had to go through because of these lazy, no good, ignorant, racist, bigoted doctors. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's another story for another day. But it does kind of lead me towards today's topic. And oh, and just know officially have, I'm so close to 200. I thought I had 200, but then when I looked at the numbers, I'm like, okay, I think this is going to be 199. So you have a lot of catching up to do if you're new. I talk, like I said, yeah, I talk a lot. And some about river racism, Reddit stories, like IQ, interesting, questionable situations. I do a countdown for those and a lot more. But today's episode, hmm, he's one of the dating nightmares. And especially after the election and all that stuff, it's like sometimes when I look at some of the messages that I've seen so many times, it makes me think a little bit more. And with this guy, like, okay, I'll read it, especially for anybody who has any type of dyslexia, or even like you don't have your glasses and things, you know. So let me just go on and read it, because there's a list of it. And and if you're driving, please, I'll read it for you. Okay, okay. So Democrats are supposedly the party of inclusion. Ironic how hypocritical you people can be. Dot dot dot. And one thing I kind of want to talk about is, yes, Democrats, we are the party of inclusion. And at the same time, like, a lot of Republicans and MAGAs and 45 lovers, they think that even though we are about love and together and to make sure everyone has equality and everything, they think that we're just going to invite, like, just like the holidays, they just think we're going to invite anybody to our table to break bread with. And it's like, no, boo boo, no, mm-mm. Your personality is as dry as this turkey breast. Okay, okay. Yeah. And a lot of your Republican guys keep getting caught. Speaking of chicken breasts, yeah. It's like you guys keep getting caught with very young chicken breasts, isn't? Yeah, turkey, chicken, yeah. Yeah, you guys keep, yeah, you want the chicklins. You want the newborn. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll move on, but yeah, speaking of. Anyway, it's just a lot of the MAGA, a lot of the Republicans and stuff, they just act like we are just supposed to keep tolerating. And it's like when they threaten us, because, I've, a lot of these men on these dating apps, they have threatened to eliminate me, or they've told me to eliminate myself. But then but then these are the same men who try to write me again months later. And I wonder, did you forget? Did you forget? Because I didn't forget. Did you forget what you wrote? Yeah. But then it's just it's just really annoying and crazy, because they just act like just because we're Democrats, we are just supposed to always, like what Michelle Obama said. Oh, she was amazing. It's like when they go low, we go high. Yeah, we go high, but we're not crazy. We're not stupid. Yeah, it was like we go high, but that doesn't mean that we have to always accept the hatred and the awful treatment that you guys place on us. And also, it's like, I love and adore the LGBTQ plus community. And when you guys tell me that I am going to go down under, it's like because of that, or you telling me that I'm a sinner, or you tell me that I'm a disgusting, awful human being. But then you expect me, because, yeah, remember, this is on a dating app. These men just act like I am supposed to be able to date them when we're talking about dating. We are talking about dating. And if you guys have been paying attention, you've already seen the screenshot of a guy who wrote, "What does politics have to do with getting to know one another?" On a dating app. On a dating app. It's called what? You have the nerve to try to ask me why do you think the divorce record is like, because I have an episode about how the divorce record is increasing because of politics, because some of these women are saying how much their men hate them, and how many of these men only married them so that they can make the children, so they can have, and also for the power over a household, so they can boss somebody around and tell them to make them dinner, sandwich, like lunch, breakfast, whatever, make their coffee, and then also make their bed, do their laundry, and anything and everything else, including the bedroom stuff. Yeah, it's like they literally want us to be their maid, their secretary, and then their bedroom buddy. It's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. But then they also want us to be like, even though they want tons of experience, a lot of them, it's like there's that one Republican, like, influencer who, yeah, yeah, he's not worth talking about right now. Anyway, it's just really annoying and crazy and just outlandish with how guys, there's men like this who literally try to insult me because on my dating profile I say we can chat, and I even say we can chat, we could be friends, but no far than friends if you don't meet the list of criteria. And that's because it's true. I will not date you if you're Republican. I will not date you if you are MAGA. I will not date you if you voted for 45. I will not. But then men like him try to write me and tell me that it's like I'm being hypocritical. How am I being hypocritical? I'm looking for someone that I would want to have married. I mean, I've mostly retired from dating now, but while I was looking to date, while I was trying to pursue someone, I would want someone who understands me politically. And at least someone, and I'm not saying they have to agree with every single action, but women's rights, LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, and vaccination, those are huge things with me, all within the Democratic Party. And it's watching or seeing messages like this, and especially like, oh, and this guy says he's 22. It's like if he's 20, okay, I'm gonna stay nice. I'm gonna stay nice because 22, 22, really. Mm. I guess 22 really hits hard in Ohio, but anyway, okay. It's like you want to talk about inclusion, and our party is about inclusion, but we are also about being safe and feeling secure and also being attracted to somebody. I'm a sapiosexual, so I would need to be aligned mentally with someone. I would need that nerd that understands me, who wants to talk with me. A lot of men out here, they don't want to talk with me. They don't want to hear a woman's opinion. They think that's not feminine for a woman to have her own opinion or to keep learning and striving and starting my own business now. They think, like, so many Republican men have told me that's a waste of time. So many Republican men have told me that I wasted my time getting my 3 degrees and 3 certifications. And it's just to the point where it's just like, okay, boo boo. Okay, boo boo. Like, what other than cooking and cleaning and doing your laundry and doing the bed stuff, what would I be allowed to do? And then also, it's like, if our party is about inclusion, what is your party for? Especially like stereotypically with the Republican Party, it it has a lot of the Christian groups. And I'm a Christian, but I've decided that, like, once I realized the brainwashing that was going on within the church, I was just like, skip this. And so I'm to a point where if we're for inclusion and equality and being welcoming and everything like that, and it's like in a way he's telling me that's not what he's for. It's like, especially he's telling me I'm being hypocritical, and especially like also it's like, if I'm gonna date somebody, aren't I supposed to be excited for dating that person? If it's like, once, especially Bumble, once I see a guy is apolitical or Republican or conservative or whatever, I swipe left. I There's no point. There is no point. I promise you. And when, like, especially after I swipe left on some, and then the app tells me I missed a possible, no, I didn't. Don't you lie, like, Bumble, don't you lie. Bumble, you lying. It's like, because why conservative men, why on earth would you match with a woman and she specifically says she's liberal? And I know a lot of men, they only go by looks. And a lot of men, it's like, especially I've been listening to some of the um, dating YouTube and the psychologists and therapist types, and some of them were talking about masculinity and how, especially a lot of conservative and the Christian male, they they want to change a woman. They love that power. So some of them go for a liberal woman in order to turn her conservative because that is a power for them. It's like if they can find a, especially like stereotypically, they say liberal women are better with the bedroom stuff. So they feel like if they can get a liberal and they can have their bedroom and turn her into the kitchen, stay at home, do my laundry, and they'll be submissive to me. And see, it's like that's a reason why I'm never gonna get married. That's like, because especially after dating Mr. Lockakey and Mr. No Heart, because Mr. No Heart, I realized after he refused to go to my mother's funeral, after he refused to go to my major surgery, after like when my car was overheating, because yeah, if you listen to the Sweetest Day episode that I had, who the car place put the wrong coolant in my vehicle. So it was like I didn't know it. So my car was overheating on my way to work. I pulled over and I called him. And he had the nerve to say, well, then call your father. After his car got repossessed and I was the one that helped him, after his truck broke down and I let him borrow my vehicle on Saturday so he can go work overtime so he could save enough money, and I loaned him over $400 because his credit score was so low. Foo, 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 foo. Like these men just act like women are for one use unless they need our wallet. And a lot of these men are not, they're not willing to work to be able to be stable upon themselves. So they want us to be submissive, but they also want our money. And this is the, remember, Mr. No Heart is the same guy who threatened to break up with me if I adopted and fostered, or if I told him I wanted a kid with him. Yeah. And so that's why I don't have kids, is because he would tell me his kids were a mistake. And I wonder what his Republican mother would say, because he says he's a Democrat, but after breaking up with him, he used to brag about not having to celebrate African American Month. He bragged about it. And I even remember his daughter being like, Dad, why would you celebrate something like that? Or why would you be happy about something like that? And I just remember I got quiet because I'm like, I'm not, yeah, I want you to answer that question. I really want you to answer that question. And he couldn't. He couldn't answer that question. And it's like, so that's when I'm like, okay, so you say you're Democrat, but I think it's just Democrat for show. And that's one reason, like, after dating him and then also getting back into the dating atmosphere when I, like, sometimes, like, the guy who was about to go into the army, I didn't even tell that full story. I've told snippets, but he was the one who told, like, when he first answered the phone when we talked for the first time, oh my gosh, thank God you talk white. Excuse me. And then he was the one that had the car seat thing for so he could put arsenal and stuff in it. And when I told him that, okay, well, I see, I would probably just get an Uber, or I would find my own transportation to meet you because I would not feel comfortable in a vehicle with you when you have two pieces of arsenal and tons of bullets and stuff, like, yeah, why, like, okay. And this is a white guy too, yeah, just want to make sure you guys know he's white. And he was just like, well, you're just gonna have to behave. It's like, I'll be fine in the car, you would just have to behave. And I'm like, so if you get pulled over? And he was like, well, pay attention to the cops. It's like, do you know how uncomfortable that is? And the thing is, like, he lied. That's the other thing. When we first started talking, I told him about how I'm a Democrat, I'm a liberal, and I don't really feel like I would be compatible. Like, because this is before it was on Bumble that you put the political party, I believe. I could be mistaken. But either he didn't have his political, I, like, now if I see a guy who doesn't put his political party, I swipe left because I don't have time, because of now some men who are conservative, now they take it off so that now they can have a higher chance of getting dates. No, thank you. I don't like when men lie, and I don't like how men try to hide the fact that they are on the opposite side of the political spectrum, because again, you're wasting my time. And that's the thing. Like right after I dated Mr. No Heart and I started back into dating, I kept finding men who lied. And that's one of the reasons why I created my list of standards. Because some men who are like, oh yeah, I save money too, I blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Next thing you know, they're asking me for money. And yeah, these weren't catfish because we video chatted and everything like that. But with these men, they would literally start trying to ask me for money. And I'm like, I thought, don't you have a bank account? You said you save money. Why do you need? Oh, yeah, well, yeah, you know how, like, I just need a little. I just need, like, if you could just help me out. And it's like, I know you've got it good. You haven't paid attention to my disability diet, like, because sometimes, like, I try to be honest and I try to tell the guys about, because yes, I invest, and it's like my life isn't perfect, but at least I try to make sure I have a strong foundation, right? And with my list, it's just, I just want a strong foundation, and I also want a guy who will at least consider some of the wants that I want in a relationship. Because a lot of men, they want so much power, they just want the woman to follow his lead. No, thank you. And again, I know I will never get married because, especially at my age, a lot of men don't want any kids or any more kids. I want to foster an adult and adopt. I wanted my own kids, but yeah, it's like, so especially when Republican men try to write me, I'm glad. Oh, and see, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna like end this with some of the things Republican men have told me, but then this guy's tries. He has the nerve to say I'm being hypocritical. And yeah, I've already said how men tell me to eliminate myself from the earth. That's usually Republican men. But then also, I'm glad you have no kids. I'm glad you're dried up because you'd probably just take them to a drag show. I'm glad you have no kids because you're so stupid. You have degrees, but you're stupid enough to vote for Biden. I'm glad you will never have kids. It's like, because no man would ever want to tolerate like your DNA and the stupid choices that you've made. All from Republican men. Oh, you're vaccinated? Oh, you're going to be dead by 2028, so you better live your life right. Oh, well, I need to marry you up as soon as possible so that I can get every penny that you worked for. Or it's like, because yeah, this was a phone conversation, but he was like, because he lied. Oh, yeah, he was a lot of like, it's crazy how many men lied on their profiles. And it's like, because this guy was literally saying that he wanted to marry me as soon as possible so that he would be able to get all of my investments and everything I've saved for. And then I kind of laughed. I'm like, have you ever heard of a will? And especially if I make sure that all of my possessions don't go to you. So even if you like, you act like I'm stupid. It's like, how come a lot of men just act like women have no common sense? And the fact that I've already constructed, like, well, I'll talk about it later and everything, but it's like, because especially for a lot of the ladies, ways to make sure that are safe, and especially if the guy wants to off you or eliminate you, yeah, create a will now. Create the will now. Okay. Because some of these men, they are going to try to pretend they love you, like you, whatever. But we already saw what happened with that one lady who wrote that children's book. Because yes, I guess for like it's not only for ladies. Because yes, she offed her husband or whatever. But it's just if you hear of so many of these the YouTube channels with the real life mysteries or the real life crimes and everything like that. It's crazy how many men they get jealous so easily because that's another thing within the Republican Party. A lot of these men, they want their woman to dress like they allow. They want their woman to only post when they allow to who they want to. And it's like they can have female friends, but the woman can't have male friends. And it's like with my ex, Mr. No Heart, again, he was not going, like, he told me that he did not want me to go to any musicals. And, but I was just like, okay, so I'll go because he said he refused. He's not going with me. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go with one of my friends. He says no. And I'm like, so you don't go to musicals, you refuse. And then you say that I am not allowed to go with one of my male friends, gay or straight or whatever. Because at first I said, so if he's gay, and he was like, no. And I'm like, so so how, like, no, I like musicals, that's not fair. He was like, then you can go by yourself. So see, it's like a lot of the Republican was coming out of him. And I'm not saying Democrat men are perfect, they're not. That's one reason why I like my list is longer than just Republican MAGA 45 lovers, because some Democrat men hate that I have 3 degrees and 3 certifications. They hate that. Some men tell, like, I've had a guy who was a Democrat tell me that I was not allowed to tell other people about my education. He said I can mention 1 degree. And he was just, and so I'm like, okay, so now I'm gonna have to remember which degree that I tell everybody. But what about if I get a job within one of my other degrees? How am I gonna explain that? And he got upset. Uh, so yeah, Democrat men aren't like over and beyond special or anything like that. But at the same time, it's much more likely that I would be compatible with them. Much more likely that we would not get divorced within the first year, the first 3 months of marriage, or the first month knowing me, because yeah, I'm very political. And really, we wouldn't even make it past the first date. It's like if you guys heard the phone conversations, even like, because again, with that army guy, he lied, and but then he wanted to be friends on Facebook. I started getting like phone calls and messages from people I haven't heard in years. And but it's like they didn't care about me, they cared about what he was posting. And that's another thing that I was like, wow. So now that you guys see that this no good Republican jerk is writing some very crazy things, now you're gonna, okay, okay. Because they were just like, someone's spamming your account, someone's writing on your account. Oh, he's a jerk, he's racist, he's this, he's that. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Then I found out it was the jerk. It was the jerk that I thought that was interested in me, but I'm just like, no, no. And then, okay, the last thing before I end, the thing that really got me is when he told me why he was going off to the army. He was going off to the army because he couldn't wait to shoot his gun. He couldn't wait to eliminate people from the earth. That's why he was excited. That's the only reason he joined the army. It was because he got to legally eliminate people. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. But this guy wants to call me hypocritical? Okay. Thank you for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too. Take care. And if someone calls you hypocritical, maybe they need to look in the mirror or maybe they need to examine themselves.